Hey, listen. We're gonna get into the Bible, okay? I promise. We've curbed a lot of band guy talk over the years. We get really baked. I get really baked, and I like the stories about Van Halen too. Okay, I like Van Halen and the Bible. But I'm not gonna lie. We cut that shit out now. We're getting into the Bible. Why? Because we love you. And now, the crucifixion of Jesus in the Gospel according to John.
Like all the guys, I don't know if I've talked to you about that whole gig where it was like, it was all a bunch of sort of not the beginning of club kids, but there were definitely club kids on that side of town.
What year are you talking?
2003.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What's it like? Party monster, like Macaulay Culkin? Are we talking like rave kids? So are we talking like?
Well, so the Echo was a club that opened in Echo Park, and at first it was just a bar, and then they opened a venue, and these guys had a night there. These and this Keith guy who was like kind of the ringleader of all these guys, and then they would come in afterwards at like 3, and we were open till 4, and like they were all like super, and I'm like, Keith. And I would just like abuse the shit out of them.
I can only imagine you with them. I can see it fully. They're cleaning toilets. You push something over. You like pick that up.
I'm so unimpressed, and like I was already 30. What? So 2005. How old am I in 2005? I was 30 something. How old am I in 2005, Life? 98, I'm 30. So 2005, I'm 37. So I'm 37 that's when Cole's born. So 2 years before that, I'm 35. And that's old. That's old that's old to raver kids. And so I'm like, yeah, you're going to have to y'all are going to, you can do what you want as long as you shut the fuck up also. But anyway, I want to pull up just shy of saying they revered me,
okay,
or they liked the abuse. You know what I mean? Like
it's reminded them of their fathers.
I don't know what it was, but this actor, he wasn't one of them, but he was one of the guys who was like, you can kind of tell when, I don't want to sound like an asshole, but it's like you can sort of tell when someone's not full of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they could tell. And like this guy, me and him were like, he was a good dude, really good dude. And I'm like, I'm like, I can't remember if I recognized him, and I must have. It was before. I don't know. This is a long story, but whatever. He's talking about, you should wait. I didn't know who Jake Gyllenhaal was, and he's like, or maybe I did, but like he hadn't really broken through yet. Because he was Donnie Darko, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, I'm in Donnie Darko.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, you are? I didn't see you in there. He's like, yeah. I'm like, who are you? He's like, I'm the rabbit.
Oh, my God.
He's the fucking
rabbit.
Oh,
my God.
Yeah.
That's
because at the very end, he takes it off, and it's whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then he's like, yeah, well, just wait. If you think Jake's not a good, this movie's about to come out that he's in called The Day After, which is that one about
yours or mine?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay,
Sorry,
no problem.
I'm supposed to be getting up right now. Like, hey, what are we reading today?
Yeah, see, it's all about good habits. John, we're reading the Gospel of John today. We're kind of making our way strangely
to Judas.
Yeah. We're talking about the arrest and possibly, if we get there, the crucifixion of Christ. I don't know if you know about this guy. His name's Jesus Christ.
Wait, are we going to redo the crucifixion?
from every gospel's unique perspective. So, because Judas obviously plays huge in this portion,
but we did the crucifixion.
Yeah, of Luke.
Oh, we're gonna do the other one. We're gonna do each one.
Yeah, there's Mark, and we did Matthew too, but I haven't been able to save that one yet. I'll figure that out.
Fuck all you hoes. What now? What was that?
We did Matthew already, but I think I lost that.
John,
fuck all these hoes.
John?
What kind of religious podcast is this?
That's the Jesus Kid Rock. Yeah. What John what?
I never told you. John 18, forgive me.
You bastard. The betrayal.
Deke.
I lived alone. My mind was... Woe to you.
That's fucking not bad, bro. Like, that's Disney level villain. Like, you could have been the Aladdin, in the desert when they, like, in the beginning, they go out and that, like, lion...
Yeah, I haven't seen Aladdin.
Oh my god, it's like my childhood. It's that movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a good Disney voice. That's all I'm saying. Props.
I saw Mary Poppins. Speaking of the betrayal. When Jesus had spoken these words, he went forth with his disciples over the brook Cedron, where was a garden, into the which he entered, and his disciples. And Judas, which betrayed him, knew the place. For Jesus oft times resorted thither with his disciples.
The King James, huh?
Said it. Yeah, exactly.
The kimchi.
Judas then, having received a band of men and officers from the chief priests and Pharisees, cometh thither with lanterns and torches and weapons.
Damn.
Jesus, therefore, knowing all things that should come upon him, went forth and said unto them, Whom seek ye? They answered him, Jesus of Nazareth. Jesus said unto them, I be Huckleberry. And Judas also, which betrayed him, stood with them. As soon then as he had said unto them, I be a Huckleberry, they went backward and fell to the ground.
That's kind of badass.
Then asked he them again, Whom seek ye? And they said, Jesus of Nazareth. Jesus answered, I have told you that I am he. If therefore ye seek me, let these go their way, that the saying might be fulfilled which he spake, Of them which thou gavest me have I lost none.
That's a pretty new detail right there.
What? So that's some more fulfillment shit. That's just some more cherry picking for the Old Testament cherry picking.
Well,
shit,
and
right?
we finally landed on the right phrase last week. So right, because
what was
the Bart Ehrman thing, where it's each individual gospel should be read for its own time, its own author, its own circumstances. They have each one of them kind of have like a different spin. And we've gotten to John. This is the latest one. We haven't read through it much because it's not in the stories in this book are not really in the other three very much. Jesus is much more developed. He's like a fucking superhero by the time we get here, right? He's like,
right. So, he's as burly as he gets.
Right? So
yeah.
in the other accounts of this moment,
you know what he is. So Luke is Bruce Wayne. Luke is who's the guy that was Batman for Alan West.
Oh.
Luke is Alan
Bale.
West, and this is Christian
we get
Bale.
Yeah,
or at least George Clooney,
right.
or Michael.
He's definitely
Michael.
Jacked, fucking mean looking sometimes,
And I talk like this. I'll tell you fucking what.
Well, and he does, like his words, like there's a mob with torches and weapons, and he defeats them just by saying, "I am he," and everyone just falls back. That's fucking badass, by the way. That's so cool
funny.
to me.
So funny,
right? And but in the other accounts, if we remember, the disciples just all run away, essentially.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, they all just
they
fucking
fail.
everyone
and here
scatters.
And here he's saying, "Let them go because it's just me you want." Because I got to fulfill some shit.
Again, so we have 3 synoptic gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke. They're called that because they essentially have all the same fucking stories. And then John is this outlier, where it's like it's much later. It has almost none of those stories. Jesus doesn't even speak in a parable here.
He's just like, fuck
He's
you.
like, I am God.
Let my bitches go.
Exactly. It's all right, like fucking. Right.
He's there. John's done with the fucking riddles. Yeah. He's like, no.
Well, I guess it's
I'm dropping balls. I'm dropping pearls here.
Right? And I think it's happening now. If you've. My TikTok's probably way more weird than yours with religious shit, but like.
Well, it would have to be because I don't have TikTok.
Oh, it's so good. The fucking Christians nowadays, like pastors, I saw a pastor go on CNN where he's like, he was reading the words of Jesus to his congregation, and they were like, this is too soft of a stance. Like, this makes us...
Oh, you told me that. You told me that. Yeah.
It's like, there's a whole...
What do you mean?
So even...
That's what he said.
Even now, we're watching people change the words of Jesus.
Right.
So...
Yeah. Okay. Whom seek ye, motherfucker, I be your parables. Then Simon Peter, or as I like to call him, Simon's Peter.
Fucking Rocky.
Having a sword, drew it, and smote the high priest's servant and cut off his right ear.
How badass is that?
Yeah.
That's
well, I mean,
Catholic.
was that what he was going for? Is that
he
what
was going for the head, obviously, but
horrible shot.
Well,
horrible shot.
We know something about Simon Peter. He's not exactly successful. He's the one that tried because he's. I mean, that's the whole.
He's the one that tried to what?
Well, he's the most human of these disciples. He's going to deny Jesus pretty soon 3 times, even though he said he did. He tried to walk on the water with him, and he falls. He always like what he'll like rebuke Jesus. He's like, that won't happen, and Jesus will be like, get behind me, Satan. You know, calling him Satan. Right? Yeah, and that's his. That's how he gets his name, Rocky. Apparently, he was hard-headed, like Peter. You know, when we read it there, it's like, or also rock, you know, but it was kind of more like Rocky, like hard-headed, like, hey, yeah, that's all hothead over there, you know. And he starts the Catholic Church.
Oh,
he's your guy.
Oh, I've been there.
Yeah, you've seen him.
I was there. Yeah. Smote him. Then Simon Peter, having the worst swing ever, cut off a dude's ear. The servant's name was Malchus.
Weird.
Then said Jesus unto Peter, dude, put up thy sword into the sheath. The cup which my Father has given me, shall I not drink it? Then the band. Yeah. Hey,
that's kind of cool, though.
Hey, man.
That's a cool lyric, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Then the band and the captain and officers of the Jews took Jesus and bound him, led his ass away to Annas first, for he was father-in-law to Caiaphas.
Caiaphas.
Whatever, dude.
They're important. And
Caiaphas.
And check this out. Oh, no, I think you...
Or as I like to say it, Caiaphas. Caiaphas. Which was the high priest that same year. Now Caiaphas was he which gave counsel to the Jews that it was expedient that one man should die for the people. And Simon Peter followed Jesus, and so did another disciple. That disciple was known unto the high priest, and went in with Jesus into the palace of the high priest. But Peter stood at the door without. Then went out that other disciple, which was known unto the high priest, and spake unto her that kept the door, and brought in Peter. There was a woman who kept the door?
I had to read that like 3 times this morning because I was like, that's going to be Mary Magdalene, you know. But no, it's a girl keeping the door.
Then saith the damsel that kept the door unto Peter, art not thou also one of this man's disciples? He saith, I am not. Gong, gong, gong.
Number 1.
I've heard the 3 denying, my whole life. I don't remember a damsel being involved.
Oh, yeah, I mean, And this is in John, right? So,
Right.
in other ones, it's a bunch of people around a fire. Small
Right.
details change. And one of them, the rooster crows once, and one of them he crows 3 times. Like there's like these tiny little details that get changed between.
People change. I am not. And the servants and officers stood there, who had made a fire of coals, for it was cold, and they warmed themselves. And Peter stood with them and warmed himself. The high priest then asked Jesus of his disciples and of his doctrine. And Jesus answered him, I spake openly to the world. I even taught in the synagogue and in the temple, whither the Jews always resort. And in secret have I said nothing. Why askest thou me? Ask them which heard me what I have said unto them. Behold, they know what I said. And when he had thus spoken, one of the officers which stood by struck Jesus with the palm of his hand, saying, Answerest thou the high priest so? Jesus answered him, If I have spoken evil, bear witness of the evil. But if well, why smitest thou me? Now Annas had sent him bound to Caiaphas, the high priest. And Simon Peter stood and warmed himself. They said therefore unto him, Art not thou also one of his disciples? He denied it. He said, I am not. One of the servants of the high priest, being his kinsman, whose ear Peter cut off, saith, Did I not see thee in the garden with him? I mean, dude, I'm pretty sure I just saw you cut his fucking ear off.
Dog.
That was about 8 minutes ago, bro.
Hard to miss you.
Yeah. Peter then denied again, and immediately the cock crew.
Sometimes the cock's got a crew.
Caw.
Caw.
The trial. Okay, so they lead Jesus away from Caiaphas.
Well, yes, and I should mention real quick. So that's a weird detail that Ananias is in there. And he's the father-in-law of Caiaphas. And if you remember, the high priest, the position they're holding is everything. They run Jerusalem. They run the Jewish faith, you know?
Yeah.
And so by Jesus being led to Ananias first and at night to be tried, and then to Caiaphas, was kind of like a Jewish person essentially claiming the deep state. They're like, oh, you think Biden's in control? No, they took him to Area 51. And so what it was showing is that Caiaphas, even though he's not the high priest, he used to be the high priest, and then he got his son-in-law in, is still running all the shit. So, you know, it's like very anti-Jewish is what it is.
Wait a minute. So you're saying that hold on here. I'm sorry.
No
I gotta
problem.
find it. What number is that? Where
That's that whole last.
now Annas has sent him. Okay, so Ananias.
Yeah.
Ananias is the
Father-in-law of Caiaphas. So Caiaphas married his daughter.
Caiaphas married his daughter, and so, but Annas is the guy who's really running things, or Caiaphas is
That's
running
what
things?
Caiaphas is running things during the time. We know this. He worked with Pilate, and you know this stuff. So Caiaphas is the elected, or I don't think it is the high priest of the time,
Right.
But since
And he married Annas' daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Annas is pretty important.
And
then?
there was another, yeah.
To the part where
He's like
Annas' dark state? Is
Yeah,
that what you're
he's
saying?
like the Godfather. You're not the Jewish, and I believe I wish we could just like call Dan McClellan.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure they couldn't meet at night. So that's another thing. Like you couldn't have a religious like trial at night because they were like that could be I don't know why, but so that's 2 strikes against this. It's like so the Jews are breaking their own rules. And it's the head Jew that's doing it, that's behind it all. So it's, we know that Jesus, if this person existed, which I think, right, was crucified by the Roman state for sedition. So, but here it's just it's getting pinned on the high priest.
Gotcha.
And
what's crazy is, so, and this is not entirely related, but it's a little bit of a parallel, is that the whole thing that's going on with Hamas and Israel, one of the things it sounds like that was the impetus for it is because Israel and Saudi Arabia are like about to sign a pact. They're in the process of working this thing out where Saudi Arabia will recognize Israel for the first time, and in the weeks to the king of Saudi Arabia doesn't want to necessarily just kind of throw Palestine to the wind because he's old school, but the crown prince is like, not our problem.
Damn.
Let's just sign this thing with Israel. They're the might, they're the rational, whatever. I'm not, and it's unclear where they're going to land, but that's the card Hamas is playing, and apparently like Iran by proxy with, Hamas. That's the card they're playing, is like, okay, we have to disrupt, because where Saudi Arabia goes, there goes most of the region, apparently.
Makes sense.
So it's this thing where it's like
money.
Father and son, and the father apparently is like old and maybe like senile or whatever. But in the next, like, if they just go ahead and sign the thing, that means the son is really in charge, even though the dad's not dead yet. So it's like this whole like crazy kind of dynamic like you're talking here, only it sounds like they're more in cahoots.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And this, we're reading it thousands of years later. They might be using historical figures, but we don't know. Yeah.
It might not even happen this way.
Well, exactly. Yes, exactly.
I do think
These people existed, but it's not like these are eyewitness accounts. We should.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on.
That's fucking fun.
Let's nail this kid to a cross, shall we? We now return to the crucifixion, already in progress.
Shit. Regardless, at least in the story, it's been a rough night for old JC. Well, I guess not here, though, huh?
You don't give a shit.
You're right.
He's fucking ball. He's like, what?
Like in that whole falling back scene, like when I was super really, I loved it. Just read it over and over again. So fucking badass.
It was your comics. It was your
It was my Batman.
He was your Batman. Yeah. I'll be your Batman. The palm of his hand, saying high priest so, Simon Peter, nope. The cock crew. The trial. Then led they Jesus from Caiaphas unto the hall of judgment. And it was early, and they themselves went not into judgment hall, lest they should be defiled, but that they might eat the Passover. Pilate then went out unto them and said, What accusation bring ye against this man? They answered and said unto him, If he were not a malefactor, we would not have delivered him up unto thee. Then said Pilate unto them, Take ye him, and judge him according to your law. The Jews therefore said unto him, It is not lawful for us to put any man to death, that the saying of Jesus might be fulfilled, which he spake, signifying what death he should die. I don't get it.
Well, I mean,
they're saying their law says they can't put him to death, so do it for us.
Yeah, like why, if the Jews are totally responsible for the death of Christ, are they handing him over to the Romans? Like, why would they do that? So now we know why, because they want to partake in Passover, because they will defile them. Here's why.
I mean, hey. I mean, we want them dead. We're just not going to, come on. Hey, we got to eat the bread first. We got to do things right.
Right.
I'm not sure what that voice is.
I'm not either. I'm not either, but I like it. I liked what you were doing.
Right.
It seemed like we could get in trouble, which makes me laugh. So that makes me...
Caw-caw. Then Pilate entered into the judgment hall again and called Jesus and said unto him, Art thou the King of the Jews? Jesus answered him, Sayest thou this thing of thyself, or did others tell it thee for me, of me? Pilate answered, Am I a Jew? Thine own nation and the chief priests have delivered thee unto me. What hast thou done? Jesus answered, My kingdom is not of this world.
Boom. Boom.
If my kingdom were of this world, then would my servants fight.
Power.
That I should not be delivered to the Jews. But now is my kingdom not from hence. Pilate said unto him, Art thou a king then? Jesus answered, Thou sayest, I am a king. To this end was I born, and for this cause I came into the world, that I should bear witness unto the truth. Every one that is of the truth heareth my voice. Pilate saith unto him, What is the truth? And when he had said this, he went out again unto the Jews, and saith unto them, I find in him no fault at all, but ye have a custom that I should release unto you one at the Passover. Will ye therefore that I release unto you the King of the Jews? They cried, then cried they all again, saying, Not this man, but Barabbas. Now Barabbas was a robber.
I do think it's a cool story. I do love this shit, though.
Is that it?
Now it goes on. 19, where Jesus is about to get fucked up.
19.
Yeah.
Are we going there?
Unless you... I mean, there's a lot of... You seem to be unimpressed for the vehicles for morality inside these stories, though, because we just blow by them. There's so many interesting.
Well, I'm waiting for you to be the.
Okay, because I always feel like I annoy you. So I'll be like, well, then there's gotta be
no.
And you'll be like,
now that I know that's what's happening. I didn't know that was happening. I'm like, dude, who gives a shit? Let's get through this fucking poppycock.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird that like Pilate is painted as like a very kind person here.
Dude, but it really bums me out that my fucking dad, like, I don't know. I mean, is your dad so religious?
Super.
And so what does he think of this podcast?
Oh, he's bummed out. Super bummed out.
But he's still fucking, he's like,
yeah.
He swims in the Kool-Aid.
He's, gone through a lot. Not, every man's got his own struggle. Not trying to talk down on the man, but what the hypocrisy is really strange. It's strange to me that, like, I mean, there are requirements in this book for being a Christian. There are, throughout this New Testament, like, fruit that you're supposed to produce as a human to know if you are, like, part of the team or not.
What fruit is that?
Piety, in a sense. Jesus is constantly talking about not having money, possessions, spending every moment essentially dedicated to the gospel of Christ, trying to reach people for the gospel of Christ. You can't be divorced. You can't be divorced and remarried. You can't commit adultery. There's tons. In fact, women can only be saved through childbearing.
They can only go to heaven if they've had a baby?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's the words. I'm sure Dan would come on here and maybe be able to explain that more, but like, I believe the exact verse is, and they shall be saved through let me find it, actually. Yeah, but women will be saved through childbearing if they continue in faith, love, holiness with property. Yeah, well, and again, Jesus speaks in parables.
Not with John.
And he goes, but so it's by seeing they might not see, and by hearing they may not hear.
I don't know what that means.
Well, I think that's kind of the deal, right? Is it's like Jesus is speaking to a mixed crowd, poor, rich, Jewish. I mean, they're all mostly Jewish, but like the Jewish elites, Caiaphas types, Ananias types, and their followers, they don't get to understand because they violated God's law with sacrificing to Caesar. It's like that's the first commandment. Thou shalt have no other gods before me, right? So Jesus is going to speak to these people, so the people he doesn't like aren't going to understand, and they're going to go to hell.
Oh, okay.
So there we go.
That's what he's.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying when he says that only the people who follow me can understand what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, that's the end result of it, right? That's the end result of what he like. Because
you're not asking me questions.
I'm talking about it with you, right? Oh, you're not asking you. Yeah,
You're
no,
like,
no,
right?
right?
I'm
Yeah,
like-
well, I'm
Let's try another. That road ended up quickly.
You're like, first time, bro. First time caller, first time listener of the Bible. What are you fucking, you're asking me? Well, I don't know. Go left? I don't know.
Take a left. I'm guessing, pal. Oh, off a cliff. Sorry.
Right. I forgot how we
All right,
got
well,
here. But yeah, we
yeah.
can watch. I mean, this shit used to make me cry coming up. I would read it and be like, oh, so sad.
The Crucifixion. Then Pilate, therefore, took Jesus and scourged him. What is a scourging again?
They
It's like
beat
a
you
loofah?
with a cat of nine tails, like that
It's
fucking.
like a really aggressive loofah, right? He scourged the shit out of him.
It's very
And the
exfoliated.
soldiers, I mean, he was glowing after that. And the soldiers plaited a crown of thorns and put it on his head. Probably out of pyracantha. And they put on him a purple robe and said, "Hail, King of the Jews!" And they smote him with their hands. What does smote mean?
I don't know if it's actually in this one. I forgot. But just like fucking punching, slapping, psh, psh, psh. And in one of them they go, prophesy who hit you, because he's like getting hit by everybody. So like, tell us, prophesy, which one of us hit you? It's like fucking. It's kind of.
Say you like big dicks. Say you like big dicks.
It's like, it's crazy. I mean, it's like, it's so crazy that it kind of makes me think that's what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's such a good line. That's such a fucking good line.
Stephen King has a lot of good ones, bro.
I've never not once given you that when we read these stories. You know what I'm saying? But what if this guy was real, and if we're trying to figure out what if any of this shit would ever happened? That line's so good that I think it happened. Prophesy who hit you. You know, he's like a prophet. He's supposed to know the future. He's supposed to be the king of the world, and he's here on the ground right underneath you, bleeding. And you're like, hey, bitch, which one? like that's such a.
Knock the fuck out. I'm sure that happened. It was in the hood.
Dude.
Pilate therefore went forth again, and saith unto them, Behold, I bring him forth to you, that ye may know that I find no fault in him. Then came Jesus forth, wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe. And Pilate saith unto them, Behold the man. When the chief priests therefore and officers saw him, they cried out, saying, Crucify him, crucify him. Pilate saith unto them, Take ye him and crucify him, for I find no fault in
How many
him.
times has he said this? Like, he just I mean,
Yeah,
this is.
they're just They really got their thumb on the scale for Pilate.
It's like if Genghis Khan was like, "Hello, yes, hello. Would you like some tea?" Like, it's like if Hitler was really nice to everyone.
Well, and you were saying that like this Pilate was in charge when there was so many crucifixions that there was a complaint, and Rome actually listened to the complaint
and removed him from his post. Yeah. I think it's in a Reza Aslan book. He thinks he quotes something. It was like 12,000 people he crucified.
So
12,000 Jewish people.
If you believe what you read, Pilate never met a crucifixion he didn't like.
but right now he's like, don't do this. Why would you do this to this poor man? Hey guy, calm down. Here's a rapist. Let's kill the rapist.
Yeah. Okay. Then the chief priest officers, the polite say that, behold. Then the Jews answered him, "We have a law, and by our law he ought to die, because he made himself the Son of God." When Pilate therefore heard that saying, he was the more afraid. Pilate was afraid.
He believed him.
And went again into the judgment hall, and saith unto Jesus, "Whence art thou?" But Jesus gave him no answer. Then saith Pilate unto him, "Speakest thou not unto me? Knowest thou not that I have power to crucify thee, and have power to release thee?" Jesus answered, Thou couldst have no power at all against me, except it were given thee from above. Therefore he delivered me unto thee hath the greater sin. Therefore he that delivered me unto thee hath the greater sin.
Jesus is now blaming the Jews and not Rome. Fucking crazy. That's crazy. That just kind of, isn't that mind blowing? Like, Jesus was a Jew. He would have kept Judaism around. He would have he would have maybe he's gonna update it, in my opinion, but forever, like Jesus. He's like switching teams. It's just so weird. It would be like
he's not switching teams. If they're gonna
in this book he is. He's like the Jews are the whole problem. And I mean, okay, I guess what you're saying, because he does want to take down the upper echelon of the Jewish community.
Right.
Yeah, okay, I get that. But it's still so far from history. This is the weirdest fucking scene ever. So why would this even be here if it wasn't straight survival? Just you can't.
I don't know what you mean by straight survival.
Well, you can't. You couldn't. It's like there's certain jokes you can't make about the president, right?
Yeah,
it's kind of the same thing. Like you couldn't say you could print anything bad about Rome when this book was being written and passed around and survived. They would just fucking,
I'm lost.
Oh, so you can't
No, I understand
okay.
that. But what does that have to do with this?
Well, because what really happened is that, we're going to find out when we read the Gospel of Judas, but Judas seemed to have portrayed Jesus, one of his private teachings, because you couldn't just get thrown on a cross kind of for nothing for being popular or disrupting. Even that thing he did in the temple probably wouldn't have put him on the cross. But saying you're going to overtake the government, sedition. This is what takes him to the cross, is saying I'm going to overtake Rome. That in reality,
but not in these gospels.
But not in these gospels. It's the motherfucking Jews. See, so
you like who says that it was really because Jesus said he was going to overthrow Rome?
The plaque they put above his head, Jesus, King of the Jews. If you were to call yourself king at all, that's you.
No. But who says that he was actually going to try and overthrow Rome?
History and the plaque above his head on the cross.
I thought you said King of the Jews.
Yeah. That's all. That's if you call yourself the king of Jerusalem, you're essentially saying you're going
literally.
Yeah, that's a back
Literally.
here. That's you see.
Yeah,
so
okay.
the story itself, it goes along with our theme. So Jesus in history would have been crucified, just with, and according to our book, for trying to overthrow Rome. But here, this author has gone very far out of the way to give a bunch of backroom stories that we would have only been able to know if someone was there, who's not even fucking mentioned. It's not like, and then I was in the corner and I saw Pilate say to Jesus, you know. And so this is like a Fast and Furious 9 production level of trying to get the narrative pinned on the fucking Jews.
Then Pilate said, "John, get me some water." Dude, why won't you protect yourself from these
They
people?
have mics in the fucking flower pots? Like, was there...
Right. Maybe they had some alien technology or something.
Divine revelation.
And from thenceforth, Pilate sought to release him. But the Jews cried out, saying, "If thou let this man go, thou art not Caesar's friend. Whosoever maketh himself a king speaketh against Caesar." So okay, all right.
And I didn't even make it this far in my reading this morning. So
that's why you
went. Yeah, I didn't. I wish the Bible would have just summed it up for us. God
there you go.
Good job,
well
homeschooler.
Right. So this thing goes out of its way, and it always has. Like that's the story. That's the Catholic story. Is that Pilate doesn't want to do it.
He's a fucking hero.
He's not a hero. And it's funny because I remember talking to my dad, and I think my dad is like, I think he said something like, Pilate's not a strong guy. He's kind of like wishy-washy. And it's like...
He comes from... Yeah, he's a very strong motherfucker. And his dad was, too. His dad, I forgot his name, but it was like skilled with the javelin. And he fucking rose the ranks of the Roman army by killing everyone. So they gave him a fucking position in government, and then Pilate goes on to do the same thing. Being, okay, right now, look at how much is going on over in that portion of the world. It's always been like that. Pilate's the motherfucker that came in and for like 20, 30 years there kept it together. He's like, oh, you want to fuck with me? Walk into Jerusalem and just look at all the people crucified. They leave all the bodies there to be picked by birds and dogs, right? So it's like, that's a fucking smell. That's a sight.
It's like a Nirvana video.
That he's tough as shit. Sorry, I just got all excited. Yeah.
It's kind of creepy, dude. What are you fucking...
Well, I'm just having a lot of fun. I get pumped every...
It's not weird unless it really is weird.
No, but it is strange. All of our folklore is about all these things, right? And then you read it, right? And it's like every conversation you've had with your aunt or any time you've been like Christmas or Easter at a church and you hear some story, and you read it now and it's like, wait a second. Why did that not count a tape?
So do we know? So Pilate he's a real dude who really ruled in
Jerusalem.
He was a general, or what was he?
Was he a tetrarch? No, that's someone else. Let's actually look it up to know his entire. As far my brain, it's essentially he's like the governor.
Right. He's the ambassador, or no,
Pontius Pilate.
He's a
Pontius
Pilate.
Call that? Governor. He was the fifth governor. Yeah. And back then, in this time, that person is a fucking war hero, essentially. Or some rich person's kid.
Right. And so he's a real dude. He's like probably the most significant historical figure in this fucking story.
I mean, for the time written, right? Because
Well, that's what. Of course.
Yeah, for the time it was written. I think. Yeah, sorry.
Well, no, not for the time written. For the time being written about.
Yes, excuse me.
Because we don't know when this was written.
Yeah, pretty late.
But we don't know exactly when.
No,
so it's
we
like,
don't have the original copies. Is a good way.
But this other dude, the two sons, the high priest, those dudes, are those guys historically traceable?
Yes. Mm-hmm. To this time, to this place, all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It all lines up.
All right.
Yeah. And there's plenty of verifiable of the time texts of all of these characters. The three you mentioned.
Almost all.
No, I was trying to count. Yeah, all the three you just mentioned.
Not the one we're talking about. Not the one who's not the star of the show.
See, I could, when you said this the other day, where it's like,
please don't.
Okay, because
go ahead. I'm just kidding.
Okay. We don't have to actually.
No, I want you to.
Because you were saying something when I was editing. I was like, you can prove Socrates lived. And if you want to, it's what you can do is ask this, like, how do you prove that? And then Jesus is going to fit all of those criteria. The same criteria you have about Socrates is going to work out for Jesus. There's verifiable writings about him. There's multiple verified writings about him. There's multiple from opponents and this and that and this, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, as far as a historical figure goes, you have almost as much data on both them motherfuckers. Now,
okay,
I think Socrates is cooler in my opinion. I won't say that.
I mean, that's a.
She does.
That's a.
She does.
What?
Do you see this? Do you want to see me jump?
Jump what?
I was just thinking a moment of ADHD for here would get us out of the boring thing. I let us down. I was trying to I could edit selectively here, but I was just trying to get us out of the cul-de-sac. I took us down real quick by being 6.
No, it's just like, well, if you don't really think that and you were just talking
no,
shit, I won't comment then.
I think that's the same reason that I believe Jesus was a person.
No, I mean the thing about, like, you think Socrates is cooler than Jesus.
Oh.
It's like, that's not really what you think. You think Jesus was the coolest guy ever lived.
No. I think, have you ever, especially lately, I've been getting into that Greek shit. I wasn't allowed to read it growing up. Dude, that stuff is smart as fuck.
Well, it's
insane.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing. Yeah. We're trying to crucify Christ here in both our words.
You got to nail on the cross, goddammit. Socrates is cooler, bros. I only like Socrates' early writings. When he got popular, he lost it. Thenceforth, Jews cried out, right. When Pilate therefore heard that saying, he brought Jesus forth, sat down in the judgment seat in a place that is called the pavement, but in the Hebrew, Gabbatha. And it was the preparation of the Passover, and about the 6th hour. And he saith unto the Jews, Behold your king. But they cry out, away with him, crucify him. Pilate saith unto them, Shall I crucify your king? The chief priests answered, We have no king but Caesar. Then delivered he him therefore unto them to be crucified.
That guy has life insurance because he just broke the first commandment.
Afterlife insurance?
Oh shit, that is a fucking Christianese thing.
What's
afterlife insurance? That's what they call salvation. Yeah. Hey, you got that afterlife insurance?
Oh, I just thought I was making up shit that was funny. And they took Jesus away and led him away. And he, bearing his cross, went forth into a place called the place of a skull, which is called in the Hebrew Golgotha, where they crucified him, and 2 other with him on either side, one and Jesus in the midst. And Pilate wrote a title and put it on the cross. And the writing was, Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews. Oh, and see, okay, so like in the Catholic vernacular, that's a joke.
You're right.
It's like sarcasm.
Yeah, that's what they lead it to be everywhere, right? But it's not. That sign was so everyone knew why that body was hanging there. Okay? They put him on a lot of those motherfuckers because they want you to be don't fucking try to do this. Here's what happened to the king of the Jews. Here's what happened to the king of these people. Here's what happened to the king of these people. See? It's
so
I mean, at least all history.
So do you have this kind of talk with your dad at all?
I never get this deep in religion with anyone but you, bro. You're the only one that can go to these caverns, you know.
Right. I just want to be like, Dad, do you know that was not a joke, right?
Yeah, you could buy
Hey, Dad, you ever read about Pilate? You ever read about what kind of dude that was? Yeah. It's so funny because he's so well read.
Yeah.
But he apparently stays in his lane.
I haven't.
So interesting.
He's just in this Reza.
I mean, I think.
Oh, your
I'm
dad?
talking about my dad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I thought you were talking about Pilate.
You know, he's like.
Okay. Yeah, it is weird.
Like
right?
he's always sending me articles from New York Times, The Atlantic, and all that. I'm like, yeah, okay. How about this article?
Right.
This one's about Pilate, and he killed 15,000 dudes. You know, not a nice.
Yeah. No.
I think Catholics make him out to be sort of like a Mr. Magoo.
Yeah, or at least just like this, like, oh, please don't, you know. And it's like he considered the Jewish race dogs. I believe. I think that's in writing somewhere. So, yeah. And
King of the Jews.
I will. Zealot and God, 2 books by Reza Aslan. I've mentioned them on here before. I need to start putting up all those books to read because they're badass. A lot of this information comes from them, and they're great. These great books, great reads.
Okay. All right. Noted. This title then read many of the Jews, for the place where Jesus was crucified was nigh to the city, and it was written in Hebrew and Greek and Latin. It's a big sign.
Uh-huh.
Then said the chief priests of the Jews to Pilate, write not the King of the Jews, but that he said, I am the King of the Jews. Pilate answers, what I have written, I have written. Fuck you, Jew guy. I'm writing what I want to write. Yeah. Pilate's such a good dude. You know, he really tried to save the Son of God. Then the soldiers, when they had crucified Jesus, took his garments and made 4 parts, to every soldier a part, and also his coat. Now the coat was without seam, woven from the top throughout. They said therefore among themselves, let us not rend it, but cast lots for it, whose it shall be, that the scripture might be fulfilled, which saith, they parted my raiment among them, and for my vesture they did cast lots. These things therefore the soldiers did. It's like low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Cherry picking.
Well, that's what they're doing with the Old Testament right there.
Hey, let's roll dice here, because that's what they say we do.
Like bad, like
it's like wag the dog.
Yeah, fucking. And unfortunately, like it's a big whoop. Like a lot of Christians think that this is literally like the fulfillment of the Old Testament, but like. Very unconvincing.
Yeah. Now there stood by the cross of Jesus his mother and his mother's sister, Mary, the wife of Cleophas, and Mary Magdalene. When Jesus therefore saw his mother and the disciple standing by, whom he loved, he saith unto his mother, Woman, behold thy son. Then saith he to the disciple, Behold thy mother. And from that hour that disciple took her unto his own home.
Yeah, this doesn't happen. It's just such a different. If you read Mark's account of the cruise,
Wait, ho.
I'm sorry. It's a very quick interjection.
Is this biblical?
I mean, this is the gospel according to John.
No. I mean, behold thy son, behold thy mother. Do they go back to the place and go, get Is he bone china with the fucking disciple with Jesus' mom?
That's not. It's that is brought up in the New Testament, and it's frowned upon because there's a member of the church.
Is that what this says?
No.
Is that what this says?
Like Jesus knows he's gonna die.
Right. So he's like, go fuck my mom?
He's like, take care of her because women, unless someone in this society, unless someone take care of them.
Like take care of her?
I don't think so.
What do you mean?
But maybe it is a new money-making venture for us if we could.
Money. All right, so he took her to the home, did his deeds, fucking made it happen. Talked to little Jesus. After this, Jesus, knowing that all things were now accomplished.
Oh, shit.
All things were now accomplished. Apparently, Mother Mary knew what she was doing too,
That's so sacrilege.
Now there was a vessel full of vinegar, Leif. Yeah, baby. And they filled a sponge with vinegar and put it upon hyssop and put it to his mouth.
Good Lord.
When Jesus therefore had received the vinegar, he said, It is finished. And he bowed his head and gave up the ghost.
His soul, that is.
No, I got that. That's like that Tegan and Sarah song. What's the chorus?
I've been walking with the ghost. I said, please don't exist.
Been walking with the ghost.
Used to share.
Jesus gave up the ghost. Yeah. The Jews, therefore, because it was the preparation that the bodies should remain upon the cross on the Sabbath day, for that Sabbath day was an high day, besought Pilate that their legs might be broken, and that they might be taken away. What now?
Well, so I feel like you know this also, if I'm being redundant, or maybe this just helps everyone that's listening, but
I'm asking.
By crucifixion, the way you die is you in order to take a breath in, you have to be able to pull yourself up and out, and so your lungs can expand and take a breath. So you have to push against the nails. Yeah. So that's a lot of your feet. Your feet are nailed on there, and you got to push on that pressure point. If they break their knees.
Wait, who just gave the thumbs up?
What the fuck's going on here?
Wow. Nobody's listening.
Well, maybe if you break the knees.
Yeah.
You can't push up, so they can't take a breath. They die
they die quicker.
Yeah, because they die quicker. It's like 12.
You suffocate.
Yeah,
that's how you die.
Yeah, you give up.
Yeah.
You have no power to push anymore, and you. Yeah.
Right.
But like it's long and that's the fucking whole idea. It's supposed to be the most excruciating thing ever. So they're saying like and. They're saying like, "Hey, we have this Jewish festival coming up. Let's break all their knees." So,
hey, real quick, could you knock this out for us?
It's really a lot triggering for some people.
Yeah. Therefore, yeah. Wow,
We could have conversations with your dad after this.
Just let some gas go. You know why? Because my knees aren't broken and I can't.
Oh.
Yeah. Then came the soldiers and they broke that fucker's legs. What are you talking about? I never heard him. They broke his legs.
I think it's the guys next to him. Oh, wait. Is that Jesus? Yeah, that is Jesus.
Oh, no. But when they came to Jesus and saw he was dead already,
okay, there.
They break not his legs. Yeah. I've never heard this shit before.
Totally different fucking God. It's John, right? This is fucking Christian Bale Jesus.
Fox News John.
It's pretty true.
But one of the soldiers with a spear pierced his side. and forthwith came there out blood and water.
Which means his heart exploded.
What?
I guess that was, and this is some vacation Bible school shit. But when blood and water are mixed together in that way, they know they're dead because the heart has exploded. So the bloodstream has been liquefied with the remains of this or that type of bile. Fuck yeah.
And he saw that it bare record. The record, and his record is true, and he knoweth that he saith true, that ye might believe. For these things were done, that the scriptures should be fulfilled. A bone of him shall not be broken. And again another scripture saith, they shall look on him who they pierced.
See, they're just cherry picking verses out of the Old Testament.
They're just checking the boxes.
Then
the guy pierced him.
You can find these verses in the Old Testament, but they're usually talking about the state of Israel. It's like in the chapter, if you read the whole chapter at the beginning, they'll be like, "Oh, Israel, you lost nation," and then it'll go into describe all these things that have happened to the nation of Israel because they've had such a rough go of it. Right? And then now they're just cherry picking those and being like, no, this was about Jesus. Is that because I'm looking this up? So brutal.
And after this, Joseph of Arimathea, being a disciple of Jesus, but secretly for fear of the Jews, besought Pilate that he might take away the body of Jesus. And Pilate gave him leave. He came therefore and took the body of Jesus. And there came into Nicodemus, which at the first came to Jesus by night, and brought a mixture of myrrh, and aloes, about 100-pound weight.
Jesus.
What's that now?
That's a lot of shit.
Okay. That's it? That's a lot of shit? That's all you got?
Oh. I was actually trying to see if I could look up the heart exploding thing. I was on WebMD there. So
look up Kill Bill last scene.
But this is, there's Nicodemus isn't, I don't think, mentioned in any of the other Gospels.
Yeah. Is that a person or a place?
It's a person.
Okay. Then took they the body of Jesus and wound it in linen cloths with the spices, as the manner of the Jews is to bury. Now in the place where he was crucified there was a garden, and in the garden a new sepulchre, wherein was never man yet laid. There laid they Jesus, therefore because of the Jews' preparation day. The sepulchre was nigh at hand. Is he dead? Is he?
Oh yeah, yeah. They're taking him to his grave.
Oh. Yeah. Are we going through the resurrection?
We don't have to. That's two. That's two. That's two chapters right there. That's some heavy lifting.
I've moved my old chair.
Oh yeah.
My old chair. I'm using my drum.
Dude, that's hilarious.
Now.
I'm doing the same thing. I have no back. I'm using my music stool thing. It looks like a drum throne.
Mine has a little. It's got a back.
Oh, see it. Mine.
I got the fancy.
Mine's is right. This feels really nice. I have to force myself to keep my back straight. It's been hard.
Well, I want to get a new one of those, but that thing's like 15 years old, and I think it was. I don't know if I told you I threw my back out last week or whenever it was. It's because I was sitting on that chair and put my feet up on this, using the computer in my lap for like 10 minutes, and I stood up and my back went ping. Not unlike Jesus when they broke his legs.
Say it's like, well, they didn't, right?
Yeah.
They stopped before him, but everyone else.
Well, I did pierce my side, and out came poop and water.
Now,
I might have told that wrong.
I don't know, in the Gospel of Mark, Jesus is crucified like it takes like that long. It's like, and in the Gospel of Mark, the only person that kind of like seems to know exactly who he is that guy that pierces his side, is that Roman soldier.
Right.
So it's a totally like it's crazy to, as someone who grew up as a fundamentalist who believed that every word of the Bible was completely without error, spelling, contextual, was transferred forever perfectly, to read the different accounts of his crucifixion and see how many differences there are. It's startling. It's kind of, I'm glad I was
alarming.
I was able to,
alarming.
but like I don't want to just react on here to like my ignorance all the time. So I'm glad I got to sit with these for a month. It would have been worse.
What the fuck?
Yeah, because we have to have some objectivity. Because there are like a lot of, I've met a lot of great people that use these stories and it helps their lives, they say. I mean, I've been one of them too. I still use kind of some of this shit, and it does seem to work. Like, but
awesome.
What? You can't say nice things about Jesus. Come on. Also, I'd like to point out here that in all three of the Gospels we read so far, they mention Jesus of Nazareth. John did it, right? It's like the one thing that they all agree on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's blown right by. I mean, look at how stoned I am with these eyes. But like, I'm just getting from you unimpressed vibes. I'm not sure. So you're not.
Well,
you're not
again,
going to be going to
even,
hand out tracks anytime soon.
Even before you started even before you got all the way through your sentence about Nazareth, it's like, okay, I'll concede that this guy probably existed, but the part where, like you talk about, you can find receipts and things like that for all these other things, and I get that he was a man of the people who had like a sackcloth for clothes, and he was, everybody was illiterate who he came in contact with, other than all the priests and but I don't know, man. I'm just like,
it's lost
when you're saying
if he was real, and we've said on here before, but if Jesus Christ is real, unfortunately, I feel. And I don't know if I'm right, but I feel like it's unfortunately who he was and what he was here to do is kind of lost to us. We won't actually be able to know.
So you and I completely agree on that.
But the Bible says that's faith, and you get rewarded for it.
Well, I don't give a shit about the Bible. The Bible is.
I love the Bible still.
He
says.
It's not that.
We agree on every point of the Bible, though.
No, we're not arguing.
Yeah,
we're totally not arguing.
Yeah, I want to make sure.
Yeah, you love it. I just don't. I would love it if it wasn't used. It's like dude says, like it has no meaning other than the meaning you breathe into it, and if everybody could agree on that, I'd be fine with it. But the fact that people take this document, the fact that people take this document and other documents and insist vehemently to the point of being
death,
like, fuck you, I'm going to kill you because you don't agree that my document is the document.
Right.
It's like, fuck, man, really? Okay, well, you've lost me.
Agree.
So
agreed.
It's a bummer.
It is.
But being spiritual and having beliefs and having a belief system, I'm totally cool with that. I'm totally okay with everybody has the right to believe what they believe.
And maybe they should, maybe.
Well, of course they should. It's like,
we're not trying to take down any of that, but
no, it's just like the part where you're trying to kill each other.
Yeah, can we speak logic into this?
I don't necessarily. I'm not even advocating for logic. I'm advocating for grace. I'm advocating for acceptance.
That's a way better way. Well, that will stick better too. It's weird that people don't want, in today's age, they don't want to give that in the Trump America. It's like, They don't want to give that, and that's there you go. That's another tenet of Jesus. And if this what you do to the least of my brothers, right?
I think a lot of these things were made up by what do you call the song guy? What's our the sinister?
Sinister.
What was he? He was a youth, like
Sinfluencer. Josh.
Yeah, what was he?
Josh.
What was
worship
he?
pastor.
He was I think all these things were made up by worship pastors, and they reverse engineered like a savior to write songs about. Like that. I got this song. We should make up a guy who we're singing about.
Well, I mean, to give you some ammo for that idea.
That was a joke. That was a joke.
I think that's what happened. Most scholars think that's what happened with Moses. Yeah. But I guess maybe religion was actually just made up by aliens to keep us in charge. We're gonna hopefully get to find out about that. We'll have to pivot really quickly on our podcast format.
I don't think we will. I think we'll be like, well, I think we already established the ground, the foundation by reading Genesis first. I mean, I'll tell you. Look, fuck it. There were aliens here. Those were the gods. Sorry, that's the deal. That's what I believe. Same. And I don't know how long ago it was, but if you listen to Graham Hancock or any of the, it was a long fucking time ago. Thousands, tens, if not hundreds of thousands of years. Whatsoever you do to the least of my brother,
and you do it to me.
Bone China, my friend.
I mean, it would kind of make sense to keep those fucking territorial apes in check, Like, be nice always. Don't steal shit. Don't fucking fuck each other's wives. Like, all these rules to keep us from killing each other so we can get to cell phones. And
if you see us come down to fuck your horses, just ignore it.
That's fucking real.
Dude, those animals are like, dude, you don't get it. It don't matter. A pussy's a pussy. Oh, God. You fuck that horse all fucking day, baby.
God.
You're not going to get her pregnant.
Oh,
God barely. If it's not a human, God doesn't even see it.
I'm guessing this isn't my idea just because it just popped into my head and it's good.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, what if all that alien shit was real and they just put that horse fucking thing in there, or excuse me, those as SFL, or God damn it, now I'm getting the Good Omens mixed up with the Book of Enoch. But the angels in Enoch that come down and teach everyone, all the girls, the shit. What if that was like them just trying to like attach a shitty stigma to them? Like Sodom and Gomorrah with that incest story.
Attach a stigma to who?
Those angels. And that, because to me, wouldn't that prove those angels are even more real? If they're like got a smear campaign against them from
who's doing the smear campaign?
Whoever wrote that book 2,500 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it could be a lot older.
Very much. Well, yeah. None of that shit's really rough. We don't know.
Yeah.
And that is, we'll have to find some scholar we can hang out with that like goes back then.
Dude.
Way back then.
Dan's not going to hang out with us.
I think he will eventually. But also we haven't, I have been essentially on a hiatus. This thing might change our lives.
What?
This Riverside. I haven't been able to.
It's
great.
Okay.
It was amazing. It would definitely.
Was it? Was this?
How about we say goodbye to everyone?
Hey, well, thanks. Hi.
That was the crucifixion of Christ, everyone.
You what? Okay. Is it time? Okay. Love you. Yeah. Hey, thanks thanks everybody.
Yeah. We'll see you next week.
We love
you.
We love God. God loves you.
Praise Allah.
Peace out.
Peace out.